Okay, now see, on my phone, I can do it all, but it's such a small screen, I prefer to look at you on the bigger screen.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
Thank you.
Hey, Terry, did you get much snow at your house?
Oops.
Oh, yeah. And I learned a valuable lesson.
Which is?
If you do 30 minutes of shoveling and then do the form, you can really tell when you're using your waste properly.
All right. That's a good way. Okay.
This is so true.
You know, when I was shoveling, I kept thinking about both Dee Dee and Judy talking about, you know, how you shovel. No, exactly, you know.
Okay, so let's go ahead and start. Welcome, everybody. It's Tuesday, and we are doing the learning all about the 10 essentials. We are exploring them. Okay. So, anybody have any questions before we start? Okay, that's a no. All right, so let's go ahead and review what we've done so far. So we've worked on the first 4 essentials that have to do with the body and spirit, and then 2 of the essentials that focuses on the mind and energy. So the 4 that essentials that have to do with the body and spirit are what?
Relax.
Empty, lively, pushing up, and energetic.
Okay.
Empty.
But yes.
Lively.
Okay, empty, lively, pushing up, and energetic. That means what?
Please be attentive to what you're doing.
Okay.
To connect the upper body to itself.
Okay.
Have your head upright. Your gaze forward.
Okay.
Use your have a good body shape during the whole practice, with your head up and your feet rooted.
Okay, that's good.
Your waist relaxed and open.
Okay, and how do we do that, Sir John?
By bringing our head up and like spirit, looking at the horizon, shoulders relaxed back, and and our feet grounded so that so that we can reach up and down at the same time, connected through the waistline.
Okay.
Relaxing our chi.
Okay, another essential?
In the chest and slightly around the back.
Okay. All right, so that's pretty self-explanatory, right, Cindy?
Yeah.
Isn't it called sink your shoulder and drop the elbows? Is that the description?
No. Well, we're not particularly going in order right now. First we have the empty, lively, pushing up, and energetic.
Okay.
Then we've got holding the chest and round the back.
Okay.
So why do we do that, Cindy?
So you can get the connection, the relaxation
Okay.
to your upper body.
All right. And how do you know you're doing this correctly?
When you can breathe through all of it.
Okay. That's a really good answer, Miss Veronica. Okay. All right. And what helps to ensure that you are sinking your chest and rounding the back? What essential?
Breathing, number 4.
What essential helps you to make sure that you are holding in the chest and rounding the back?
Essential number 3, body shape.
First one.
Thinking this and dropping the elbows.
Okay, so we know that if you're lifting your head, if you're doing the first essential, then all the other 4 that have to do with the body should be there.
Okay, I've screwed up all of it.
That's okay. All right, so we've got empty, lively, pushing up, and energetic. We've got holding the chest and round the back. And what else do we have?
Sink the shoulders.
Shoulders and elbows down. All right. So why do we need to make sure that our shoulders and elbows are down? What is benefit do we get from that?
Our chi is lower in our body.
Okay. All right. Good job, Miss. I heard you, Carol Ann. Okay. Anybody else? All right. I also want you to remember that it also helps to keep the upper body relaxed without having any tension. All right. This causes a little bit more tension. We're using a little bit more energy. We're using more muscles. Okay. Here, not so much. So it helps us have our upper body stay more in a relaxed position. All right. So we've got empty, lively, pushing up, and energetic. Shoulders and elbows down. Sink the chest round the back. What other one?
Relax the waist.
Relax the waist. Okay, so how do you know you're doing that?
Belly breathe.
Belly breathing, okay.
Breathing. It just feels right.
Okay. Okay.
Well, so how do you know you're doing that? You are able to move your waist independently of the hips and the shoulders,
Correct.
essentially. Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay, very good. And what essential goes with this? When we do the relax the waist, then what essential kind of goes with this one?
What is it?
Coordinating upper and lower.
Oh, upper and lower body move together.
Okay, no, we're still on the first four.
Oh,
Okay, then.
So we know when the chest sinks and is able to absorb, and the back is slightly rounded, then the waist can be more relaxed.
So it's essential number 3, body shape, that goes with.
Yeah, holding the chest and round the back. So if you are doing this one correctly, then your waist is able to
Relax.
more relaxed. Yeah. Okay.
But none of these are actually what you would call in order. You said, like, it's not. They all work together, and they're just different areas to try to focus on.
Yes, they all go together. They all have to do with our body and our spirit. You know, so the first one is the one that basically sets the tone for everything. Okay, we got to keep our head up, and we need to make sure that we're able to belly breathe. This is really important. That helps to keep the chi down. And helping to keep the chi down also helps allow our shoulders and elbows to be down, right? So that we know when we're applying the first essential, if we go like this, then it's hard for everything else to suspend. So we know from the head that everything else needs to be suspended from the head.
So the first essential is always first, but the rest is not necessarily sequential.
Right, but they kind of go together, but it doesn't, like if I were to say to you, Carol Ann, there are 4 essentials that have to do with the body and the spirit. What are they? You can go, relax the waist, shoulders, empty lively, and hold in the chest. These are the 4 essentials that have to do with our body.
Right, okay.
Okay, they all work together. The first one being probably the most important because, if your head's not lifted, then it's hard to get everything else to suspend down. If it's hard to get everything to suspend down, it's hard for the waist to relax. If the waist isn't able to relax, then you can't hold your chest in and around your back. So they are all working together to make one whole thing.
I find that number 2 and number 3 are sort of like it seems like there's so much overlapping in all of these. It's a little bit hard to tell them apart.
Okay, well, that's a good point. What you can do is, if your head is not lifted, then all these other ones will not be in play the way they should be. So each one has its own its own characteristic, its own value that it brings to the 4 of the essentials, and so don't overlook one and glom it into another one, but they all are working in conjunction with each other, but they're each separate. It's kind of like park, reverse, park, reverse, drive, neutral. They're all separate, right? They have their each of their functions, but they're all part of the gears of how we move our car, right? But you cannot bypass one to get to another one. It won't work.
Right.
Right? Well, unless you're in neutral. But when you're in neutral, you can't go anywhere. If you push on, it's like the accelerator pedal and the brake. They're two independent things, and they each have their own function, but they work together to make the car go, right?
Sure.
To go and stop. So yeah. So being able to identify each of their own characteristics and uniqueness, that will then help you to kind of figure out how they work together and what each of their functions are, because that's important, right? All right. So then we went to, okay, go ahead, John.
I have a question about the relaxing of the waist and the breathing. It seems to me when I do that, also when my feet are grounded, that my transverse abdominis is a little bit contracted and muscular, but I can still breathe. Is that okay, or do you want it to be more open than that? Naturally, it seems like there's a contraction there in that area of my kind of deeper, not my six packs, which I don't have, but my the deeper kind of layers in your body of muscles that are being engaged, maybe.
Okay.
I mean, I know that's kind of a weird technical question, but it's kind of what I'm feeling as I'm standing here, opening my back, and particularly on the exhale, a little bit of contraction in that area, engagement.
Yes, I think that's okay. What I want you to think more about is using your whole stomach to breathe, not just here, breathing from here. Okay, when you breathe from here, there are muscles that are going to contract and release, as you breathe in or breathe out. I think that's okay, as long as you are not specifically tensing up. When you tense up, then it's hard. I mean, us women, we know a lot about this part because we were taught to, suck in our stomach. And so we were not really breathing from our stomach. We were breathing from here. So if you're able to see your belly go in and out, okay, regardless of how much muscles that you're feeling, if you're able to take a deep breath and kind of feel your belly expanding and then contracting, then that's good.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? All right. So now we're moving on to mind and energy. So we worked on two essentials that had to do with mind and energy. All right. And that was separate, empty, and full, and
synchronize upper and lower.
Yeah, synchronizing upper and lower body, right? Okay, so how do you know you're separating empty and full?
I wrote down, and I think this makes sense. It's in the transition from one to the other.
Okay.
That's it, actually.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, you're saying something, Shelley. I think you mumbled.
No, I was repeating the question.
Okay.
You can tell because if empty and full is not maintained, you become stiff and breakable, you lose your center, and you're not able to adapt to the energy coming at you.
Okay, that's really good. All right. So physically, it has to do with agility and balance. Okay. So we have to make sure that we are both agile and that we also have our balance. So remember we talked about stepping out just right, not too long, because then we don't want to become double weighted, right?
Right.
Yep.
If your body shape changes from this to this, okay, then our empty and full cannot be very clear because now we've changed our body shape. It's going to change our balance. It's going to change how we step out. It's going to, affect us becoming agile versus becoming double weighted. All right. So we also know that it also speaks about energy. All right. We're talking about mostly the physical aspect of separating empty and full, but we also know that it has to do with energy. So that has to do with like push hands. So we know with push hands, we must yield, right? When the opponent touches us and pushes towards us, that we have to yield. But then after we yield, then we're able to go ahead and issue out energy. So what we want to try to do is we want to be able to be flexible and agile enough to where they can't find our center. All right, so how does somebody find our center? It took me a while to kind of understand that, just like it took me a little bit to understand what they meant by, in push hands, we want to have what's called or considered listening energy. All right, so what am I trying to listen to, or what am I trying to listen for, okay? What does it mean by them finding our center? When somebody can find your center, then they can push you over, because now you've become either stiff or you become less flexible. You've lost your agility. You're losing your balance. Come here, Michael. In push hands, what we want to do is we want to be that, like the axle, that just kind of keeps turning. But we can, whatever way it turns or whatever direction it goes, it just kind of keeps moving. So, for instance, if Michael were to push me, okay, and I don't yield, okay, he can easily push me over. This happens when you become stiff. All right, when you become stiff or tense. Oh, I don't want him to push me. He's pushing me. Oh. Okay, it doesn't take much. That's finding your center. When they can find and they can affect you to the point where they can push you over, they have found your center.
So
all
that
right?
could be a psychological impact really quickly before you're even aware of it physically.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like
in order to keep agile, when he pushes, see how? Okay. Just push a little bit. Okay. See how I can just kind of yield to him?
Right.
Okay. He can keep pushing. Go ahead. Okay. And I can kind of deflect him away. But we have to make sure that we are soft and that we yield. Okay. Soft doesn't mean this. It doesn't mean to go limp, right? It just means I'm still giving him something to push against. It's just I follow and then I can deflect. That's the beautiful. Thank you, Michael. That's the beautiful thing about this. This. What is this?
Right.
This is empty full.
Empty and full. Okay. Give me another word. Give me another word for that, Carol Ann. Tai Chi is based on what theory?
Yin and yang.
Okay. So this is yin and yang, right?
Okay.
So we need to be able to know how to transition from yin and yang without losing our balance, without becoming stiff, without becoming too soft, without them finding our center so that they can then push us over. Okay?
Nancy, Shelley, I'm struggling with the terminology. To me, it seems like having your center is a good thing, but now we're saying if somebody can find your center, they can overwhelm you.
Yes.
And so that doesn't.
Okay. All right.
But just the key of if they find your center, you're a goner, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why you're always keeping it moving and you know where it is and they don't, right?
What's that?
That's the way I read it.
What are we supposed to hide it?
It's full to empty, right?
But we also want to be centered.
So Michael just gave me an example to give you guys. I don't know why he thought about this. Okay. Have any of you played billiards?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Cool. Okay. All right. So you know you have the stick, and
Yeah.
you know the stick hits the ball, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
You generally, although I scratch a lot.
Okay. All right. So we use the cue stick to hit the ball so that the ball eventually goes where we want it to go, correct? Okay.
Yeah.
So the question is this, okay, and Shelley, maybe you can answer this question. Where do you want to hit the ball with the cue stick? Where do you want to hit it?
It depends on what you're trying to do. I mean, you don't always hit it at the center.
Well, I'm just wondering if you're talking about center, meaning like center of mass or center of gravity. So if they're pushing against your center of gravity, then you're sunk.
Yes.
If you can deflect their action, then.
Yeah, yes. So what we're talking about is, okay, so I'll finish with the example that Michael wanted me to share with you. All right, generally speaking, you hit the ball with the stick in the center of the ball, okay, to send it out. If you hit it on the edge or the sides, the ball will basically just spin, right? So when we hit it in the center, then it sends the ball straight out, right? But then if we hit it off center, it'll make the ball just spin. We want to be the ball that spins. Okay?
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Does that make, okay, so okay, good. All right, so come back here, Michael.
I'm still not translating it to the rest of the story, but that statement makes sense.
Okay.
The center, this isn't a woo-woo concept, really. The center is really just your center of gravity.
Yes. Yeah, if you think of it about like your center of gravity. Okay, there's a movie that I want you guys to see, watch, and it's called Twin Warriors. It's with Jet Li. I do have other movies in my repertoire, but I like Jet
I don't
Li,
think so.
okay? Shelley knows. Shelley's been in class with me for quite a while. Okay. It's called Twin Warriors. Anyway, this is a movie about Chan Sam-feng. Chan Sam-feng is who we give credit for initially creating Tai Chi. Bella, that was just your papa. Okay. Chan Sam-feng, we give credit for, creating Tai Chi because he is the one that saw the crane attack the snake and noticed how the crane would, go directly to the snake, but the snake was very agile. It would coil and it would, kind of wiggle around and things like that. And so the crane got so tired that he flew away, and the snake just went, hey, right on for me, and just went about his business, okay? So we want to be kind of like a snake. So for instance, like if I go to push Michael, see how he just kind of goes with it, but then he redirects me. All right, it's kind of like but if I were to just push directly into him, I can find his center. All right, I can find his center by just pushing directly into him. Most people, when they go to hit you, they will go for one spot, usually let's say the center of the chest. So if I push into the center of his chest, see how he's kind of sunk back and then he's turning? All right. So we want to have that so that they cannot push us over.
So you're saying they cannot offset our center.
That's exactly right. They cannot push us off balance. Right. So here I can push him off balance. Okay? But if I push like this, then see how he deflects me? So I'm not able to push him. I'm not able to push him because he can turn.
So if someone finds your center and you change your center by turning your body or whatever, then you've offset their energy, essentially.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's why everything in Yang Family Tai Chi is circular.
Right.
It's circular, okay?
Yeah.
So when we have this exercise of, okay, I push him, he turns, okay, then I can do something to him, he can do something to me. But the thing is that we try not to have them push us over. Without Okay, go ahead, Shelley.
So be soft, yield to the opponent, not letting them hit our center. I mean, or when they hit our center, we're yielding and deflecting.
And recentering.
Yes, we have to get ourselves to the point, and this is talking more about energy, okay, instead of more about the mind and the body, let's say, where we are able then to absorb the energy coming towards us and then redirecting it. That's what's so good about this. Okay, we're just gonna shift back and forth. Okay, back and forward and back. All right. So when somebody comes towards you, they're moving forward. What's the opposite of forward? You move back. But then from back, then what's the opposite of that? He can move forward. Okay? So that's one of the beautiful things about Tai Chi is that it doesn't require you to be big, heavy. It's not about using brute strength. It's all about finesse. It's all about being able to use the circles to benefit you so that you are not put off balance. Thanks, Michael.
And like you say, the energy, once it begins, it's going to continue. And so you use the energy.
Right. We use their energy against them. So if they want to come forward, we're going to go back. We're going to let them come forward. And then as they're still coming forward and we're going back, then we take that energy and we create a circle and then we can deflect them.
Just spin their
We can
energy.
move it away from us so that it does not affect our sense of balance. Okay? Does that make more sense? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So that's separating. Synchronizing. Which one are we on? Empty and full?
Yes.
Okay, synchronizing upper and lower body. In a basic way to say it, what does that have to do with what we do?
From feet to legs to waist.
Timing.
It's all about the timing, right?
Right.
So synchronizing upper and lower body, it's all about coordinating upper and lower body so that they move together as one whole unit.
Or one breath or one chi.
Yes, one breath, one chi. Okay? That one's kind of simple, huh?
Well,
simple to say.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So the first part is your mind being able to absorb the content of what each essential is. Once your mind gets it, can understand it, then it's up to your mind to then try to have it go into your body. Then your mind has to direct your body on how to get these things done.
Right.
Right? Okay, so know that everything starts and ends with your mind. Okay? All right. So we focused on body and spirit and mind and energy. All right? Body and spirit, first four essentials. Now all the rest of the essentials have to do with our mind and energy. Okay? So the next essential is called use intent rather than force. All right, so let me read the essential to you. This one's kind of lengthy. The Tai Chi classics say this is completely a matter of using intent rather than force. When you practice Tai Chi Chuan, let the entire body relax and extend. Don't employ even the tiniest amount of coarse strength, which would cause musculoskeletal or circulatory blockage with the result that you restrain or inhibit yourself. Only then will you be able to lightly and nimbly change and transform, circulating naturally. Some wonder, if I don't use force, how can I generate force? The net of acupuncture meridians and channels throughout the body are like the waterways on top of the earth. If the waterways are not blocked, the water circulates. If the meridians are not impeded, the chi circulates. Okay? If you move the body about with stiff force, you swamp the meridians. Chi and blood are impeded, movements are not nimble. All someone has to do is begin to guide you and your whole body is moved. Okay, we did that with the empty and full. If you use intent rather than force, wherever the intent goes, so goes the chi. In this way, because the chi and blood are flowing and circulating every day throughout the entire body and never stagnating, you will get true internal strength after a lot of practice. That's what the Tai Chi classics mean by only by being extremely soft are you able to achieve extreme hardness. Somebody who has really adept at Tai Chi has arms which seems like silk wrapped around iron, immensely heavy. Someone who practices external martial arts when he is using his force seems very strong, but when not using force, he is very light and floating. By this we can see that his force is actually external or superficial strength. The force used by external martial artists is especially easy to lead and deflect. Hence, it is not of much value.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. So there's a lot to this essential.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So this one was a little challenging for both Michael and myself to wrap our minds around because, again, the question erupts. How do you intend not to use force?
I think you intend to accept what comes and not have a preconceived idea, for one.
Okay. But the essential says use intent rather than force. What it actually means, because Master Yang, we were having a conversation with him, and he said this in passing. And luckily, both of us heard this, and we just clicked onto it right away. And we went, oh, okay, that's the answer. What this essential means is we must intend not to use force. Or in brackets, we can say brute force. So we must intend not to use brute force. So it's all about relaxation. It's all about our energy being balanced, soft and hard together. And we have to use our mind, which is then sets the intention on relaxation. Our mind has to think about relaxation. So what is relaxation? There you go, Dee Dee. There she goes. There she goes. Okay. Her arms started raising. She starts getting into shape. Okay. So who can tell me if, let's say, I were to ask you this question and you were going up for ranking, explain the word relaxation. What would you say? How would you explain it?
It's connecting upper body, connecting the joints and the muscles and the tissues and the bones and being stretched, but not limp or not tight.
That's right. So what kind of energy do we want to have, Shelley? If it's not, we don't want to be too tense. We don't want to be too soft. We want to be in the middle, right? That middle is there's a word for that. And what's that word?
Baby bear, just right. I don't know.
Okay. Yes, we want to be just right. But what I want you to come away with today is we intend not to use brute force because we think about relaxation. And through relaxation, we then become springy. Our energy then is springy. All right. So we don't want tense. We don't want too soft. Okay. We don't want limp. We don't want stiff. We want to be in the middle, and that is springing. Okay.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So oftentimes, our tendency is when somebody comes towards us is to become stiff. All right. And we have to try to get ourselves past that so that we can then kind of stay centered, kind of stay balanced, keeping our mind calm. All right. And thinking about relaxation, connecting the upper body to itself, right? Connecting our whole body, right? Okay. So Tai Chi's hard is not stiff. It's unifying soft into hardness.
Tai Chi's, you mean Tai Chi's, what you would consider hard energy.
Energy is, and Tai Chi's hard energy is not stiff. It's unifying softness into hardness. So the key is unifying energy. So how do we unify energy? Okay, come back here, Michael.
Good question.
That's a really good question, huh?
Yeah.
So while he's coming, this goes back to the word lively. I think the definition of lively is relaxation allows you to be lively.
Or springy.
Springy. Yeah.
Okay.
That's my little pea brain is okay. I just ever since we went through number 1, I've been just thinking that lively meant being able to respond. Easily.
Flexible.
Yeah. So if you can,
Exactly.
you can actually translate that word into being alert.
Attentiveness.
Yeah, being attentive, being alert, right? Because we want to make sure that we know what's going on in our surroundings. In order to do that, we have to be, aware. We have to be on alert, right? Okay.
I'm confused a little bit about what you call hard energy of Tai Chi. So we do things where we're not just turning our body and letting someone go flinging past us and giving them a little shove on the way. We also punch them.
Oh yes.
So
In
is
the groin even.
actually a punch, or are we just like pushing against, like our hand comes slowly and they are just going to be shoved away? I mean, we're actually making a hard like if we were to use it in real time.
Yes. Okay. So I want you to go back to what this said about external martial arts.
Meaning it's shallow and useless and external.
Yeah, when somebody who practices external martial arts, when he is using his force, he's very strong.
Right.
But when not using force, he's very light and floating. Okay, so we want to unify our energy so that soft and hard work together. Okay, they're working together. All right, so how do I explain this? Okay. So, when we do these push hands circling, okay, so if I were to get some hard into Michael, my hard then goes into soft. His soft goes into hard, go, okay? We transfer. It's
So
kind of...
So if you were to punch somebody, you wouldn't just like leave your arm out there in a rock solid fist and a stiff body with all your power remaining and then try to punch again. You would do
Okay,
something else.
so external martial arts is all about external strength.
Right.
So if I go to hit Michael and he stops me, okay, this is force against force. So that means then who's faster, who's harder, who's stronger will then win this, okay?
Sure.
But Tai Chi's not like that. Tai Chi, we take hard, Tai Chi's based on yin and yang. So we take their hard and turn that into soft. Because you can't have two hards at the same time. One has to be hard and one has to be soft. If it's true that yin and yang exists. All right, so for instance, If I go to punch Michael, I'm hard. He connects with softness. I'm still hard, but he's got to turn my hard into soft.
Well, let's say you punch Michael because you practice yin and yang and he doesn't. So you punch Michael and you have to have some hardness to punch anybody.
Oh, I can punch Michael.
And then what? Well, what I mean is, so is the yin and the yang part of it that, you know, there's a hard contact for whatever the moment is, and then you follow it up with the soft part where you're turning and flexible.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. Okay.
Okay.
The first thing in Tai Chi that we ever do with an opponent, I just want to have you remember this part, okay? The first thing we do in Tai Chi when we meet an opponent is we must what?
Connect.
We must connect. But we don't connect in a hard way. It's kind of like this handshake. We join with them.
Right.
We join with them, okay? It's not like this kind of a thing. We join with them. Once we join with them, since we're connected with them, now we can then control them. But we first initially have to connect with them. So there's a way to connect. You can connect hard with hard, or he can connect with me and then follow me, okay? Follow me, follow my energy, which is a hard, direct energy, to his body, and he can then make me go soft, and then he gets to go hard. Because we do use hard energy.
Right. So that's really what I want to know is like, how are you getting to that part? What do you do with your hard energy in Tai Chi?
Are we doing that on many of our forms?
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
if you think about
absolutely, absolutely.
Left
When
knee
we
thrust,
when
you're
we go to
soft first, and then you're hard.
yes,
right?
so when we go to apply an application, we are actually going into hard. But before we go hard, we are soft.
Right.
Okay, so let's take ward off left. I'll punch you. Okay. Okay, so we're going to do ward off left. Okay, I'm going to punch Michael. See?
Yeah. You're hard. He's soft. He
Yes.
then
Then
turns.
he goes hard. So
Yeah.
So the thing with this is, and for those of you that haven't had push hands experience, for instance, I'm going to go hard and I'm going to push towards Michael this way. Okay, so my hard is here. Okay, he's going to go ahead and do whatever he's doing. Okay, and now he's taking my hard and now I'm going to the soft side.
Yep.
Okay, because my hard then turns soft. So my other side becomes hard and it's movable.
Oh,
So we take it and we do this. We transfer it. Just like a ball.
Okay.
Just like a ball, okay? We meet hard with soft. Thank you, Michael. One of the sayings in Tai Chi is, for every 1,000 pounds you direct towards me, I only need 4 ounces. For every 1,000 pounds you direct towards me, I only need to use 4 ounces. How is that possible?
Because you're deflecting energy.
Because our intent is not to use force.
Yeah.
Okay? Our intent is to join with them. Okay? Now we then become one. By joining with them, then I can then take their hard and turn it into soft. I can take my soft and turn it into hard. But to meet hard with hard, then it's just becomes a fight of who's stronger, who's harder, who's faster, So Tai Chi's not like that. That's why the beautiful thing about Tai Chi is that you can be 80 years old and 4'7", and you can take somebody that's 5'8", and if you know how to do this, then you will have the advantage over the other person.
That's a really interesting idea about joining with them and becoming one circle of energy.
Yes. Cheryl, this is correct. So the Twin Warriors movie is about Chan San Feng, and Chan San Feng supposedly kind of went crazy. And through his delusion, state, he came up with the idea of Tai Chi. And how did he do it? With water. So he had this ball and he had this water, and so he found how the circles can take something that's coming at it directly and spin it out and deflect it away from itself. You can try this at your own home. Fill your sink with water and then start making a whirlpool. All right, and then make it go good. And then when it's going by itself, get like a ping pong ball or something and throw it into that water. Throw it into the water and see what the water does with the ball. The ball will go straight into the water, but the water, because it's spinning, will take that ball, that energy, and spin it away. This is really amazing. So if you watch the movie, then you'll be able to see how this happens. And he just really kind of started playing with this ball. So it was a lot of fun. Anyway, so we unify soft with hard. Okay, and the key is unification. So I want to kind of give you a thing that Master Yang said. And Master Yang's example of how to unify energy is like water and air. He says independently they can both be soft and hard. Okay, water can be a soft flowing stream. Water can also be a tsunami, right? So that's the difference between soft and hard. Air can be soft and gentle as a gentle breeze. But it also can be hard like a tornado. So that's the hard and soft. So when they unify together, they can be a soft flowing stream with a gentle breeze, or they can become hard and together create a hurricane. So how do we apply this essential? It's best when we can do it in push hands, because the 4 requirements for push hands is connect, follow, stick, and adhere. So we join softly with an opponent and follow their movements, and by doing so, then we can redirect their hard to become soft, our soft to become hard. So how do we, on a physical level, in the form, how do we focus on relaxation? Our body shape. Being springy and not being stiff. So, for instance, ward off right. Then we go to roll back. I need to rotate slowly. Are you stiff or are you springy?
Springy, I hope.
Well, springy, I hope. That's exactly. Yes. So that's the goal. All right. So here's another picture I want you to have in your mind. We've all had Jell-O, right? Exactly, Dee Dee. She's sitting on her ball going, Jell-O. Okay. What happened? Okay, so you make Jell-O. You put it on a plate, and it's sitting there. Oh, it's looking so good. And you slap the Jell-O. You know you've done that. I've done it. You went like this to the Jell-O. What does the Jell-O do? It goes like this, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So
it jiggles.
It wiggles and jiggles all over. Right. That's the springiness of the Jell-O. It keeps its shape, but it can move, right? Just like, water. If you're at a stream, we can, put our hand in the stream and feel the running of the water, but the water will adapt and it'll go through our hand, in different directions so that it continues its flow. That's what we're trying to do. All right? We want to have this springiness in our form that is that does not have any stiffness or limpness. So limpness being ward off right, roll back. Okay, yeah, so you guys are laughing, right? Because now I've lost my shape. So we know Jell-O has a shape. It has a form. And we know that if somebody were to come and push on our form, that we could be springy, okay? But know that we can spring back. right? We can spring back because that's what Jello does. Okay.
So that's my new mental image.
Yeah.
That's a
Now,
challenge.
until you can come up with your own new mental image, that's the image I'm going to leave you with, Carol Ann.
Oh, I'm so focused on the flavor of the Jello now too.
Well, you know, lime for me, lime Jello is really good. Okay, but I'm just saying. All right. So what I want us to do is I want us to practice the first section of the form, and I want you to notice: are you maintaining your body shape? Do you have your structure? Are you too stiff? Are you too limp? Or are you just right, Miss Shelley? Are you
Baby
just
bear.
right? Yeah. Okay. So let's try doing this together, and I'll cue you periodically to make sure that you can kind of do a check on yourself. All right. All right. So here we are at prepare. All right. Okay. Prepare. Make sure the first essential, lifting the head, get your feet flat on the floor, hands at your sides, middle finger pulling down, knees are slightly bent, then kind of relax your waist a little bit here. Now, opening, rotate and lift to shoulder height. Then, arms floating downwards. Remove any tension in your body. Almost at the bottom, go to ward off left. Keep your structure, keep your body shape. Arms closed, we step. Okay, do you feel springy here, or are you too stiff? Go to ward off right. Keep your body shape. When I first learned how to do this, I felt very stiff because I didn't know better. All right, so here, do you have your body shape? You feel connected? Turn, rotate, go to rollback. Press, turning back. You have your body shape, spacing your armpits, then press forward. Push, separate your arms, shift back, roll over that ball, push forward. Single whip, back. Turn, keep that upper body connection. Back. Make your hook hand. Ward off to strike. Raise hands and step forward, back and turn. Keeping the body shape, don't be too stiff. And go to raise hands. White crane spreads its wings. Keep your body shape, don't go limp. Circle your arms, arms closed, step, turn. White crane spreads its wings. Left knee brush, rotate, circle back, keep your body shape. Step, are you breathing? Hand strums the lute, keep that connection. Remember, this is all about intention. Rotating, circle back. Our intention is not to use brute force. Our intention is to stay connected, have our body shape. Right knee brush. And to have that springy, and stay right here. If somebody were to push against you here, okay, you should be springy. Left knee brush. All right, hand strums the lute. Keep breathing. Left knee brush, circle back, swing step, brush knee and push. All right, step up, parry, block and punch. Circle down. Step, parry, parry, block. Now, keep your springiness when you punch. Apparent closing up. You have your body shape. Are you staying connected? Cross hands. Closing. And finish. So the key in doing this in the form is to make sure that you don't have too much tension in your body. All right. We will have our structure, and that'll give us a certain amount of, let's say, tension. Okay, but just the connectivity. Sometimes getting used to that connectivity can be a little challenging sometimes. The thing to remember is with this essential, we want to have that springy energy. Okay, we want to be able, and this is more done on application or push hands level than with the form, to be able to go from soft to hard and hard to soft. But we're still doing that in the form as well, especially when we come to movements like punching. I know that some people, when they get to the punching part, they really get excited about the punching part. Because, some of us haven't had that much practice punching. We've thought about punching. We enjoy the thought of punching, but we've never really had the opportunity to punch somebody, right? And so to, get into Tai Chi, and now we're going step up parry block and punch. Okay, well, I'm going to punch. Okay, so then it becomes more hard, all right? Remember to keep everything even as possible. We want to stay in the middle. We want our energy to be springy, all right? And once we start getting in our mind about, okay, I'm going to start using force now because now I get to punch, right? But we're in the form. We're not doing it on an application level. Save all that energy. Save all that stored up energy for when you need it, okay? Like when you need to hit something. Well, then get all that stored up energy, that you just whack away at something, okay? Not a person, but just whack away at something, Like if you're pounding on a steak, okay? Be careful. And your steak may kind of explode, but okay? So we want our energy kind of even to stay in the middle. So we don't want too much hard, we don't want too much soft. If you find yourself kind of getting a little bit on the hard side, try to get back in the middle. If you find yourself, with rollback, sometimes it's easy to kind of drop this shape, okay? Then oh, I got to get my shape back, all right? So just remember, we want to be the jello mold, all right? We want to have our structure, yet we want to be able to have this springiness to respond to whatever energy is coming towards us, that we can respond to it, okay? Respond to it, but then know we can bounce back because we've got our body shape. We can bounce back so that they cannot hurt us, all right? Anybody have any questions? No?
Well, I have a comment. This is going to be a real challenge.
Yeah. Well, we're getting down. We're getting down to the last few ones. And these last few ones, can be a little tricky because, again, this has to do with our mind and our energy. To truly feel the effect and response of the energy, then that requires push hands.
What I noticed with doing just the forms is that I was trying to be very mindful of whether I was tense anywhere.
Yes.
And so there were parts I could untense, and there were parts I felt it was almost impossible to not tense in order to say bend my knee or bend my ankle or stretch out or hold my weight up, for example. When I'm extended, because you kind of need to do that when you bend your knee a little bit. Things like that. That's sort of a challenge. So.
Oh, sure. And then you can ask yourself, well, when I am getting tense, what body essentials am I not adhering to?
Right.
Am I doing this?
Yeah.
Okay. So then we know then the shoulder and elbow come up. All right. And we know when that happens, it's hard to round the chest and sink the chest and round the back. So all these are just so intertwined that when you break one, then it's like the domino effect. Okay.
I'm kind of wondering, how if I've kept my connection across the back, my shape essentially always through every part of every move, because I don't think so. You start out that way, but then by the time it gets, to the side, maybe I've broken it and I've gone too far or something.
Oh, well, Bella didn't like that. She really didn't like that part? And what she wants me to tell you is that we are all a work in progress. Focus on one essential at a time. When you have the first essential down, and you can do it throughout the whole form, then go with the next essential. And it could be random. You can go, any one you want, okay? Just focus on one.
Every day, pick a different one.
Yeah, Michael says every day pick a different one. Or, you may take one, and work on that for a week, and then go to the next one.
Good idea.
Yeah, I mean, don't be too hard on yourselves, because this takes a long time to, okay, let me ask you this. How long did it take you to basically learn the whole form?
Still learning it.
No, I know, but I mean.
Not basically over a year.
Over a year? Okay.
Months.
Okay. Well, then just know that trying to implement essentials will take at least that, if not more.
Yeah.
Okay, because this is really brings the true essence of what Tai Chi is about, as the Grandmasters want us to think of it. That they've given us these 10 things to think about, to ponder on, and try to implement it, each one of them, into what it is that we're doing, to the point where all of them are now in effect in everything that we do in Tai Chi. So this is not this is as challenging, if not more challenging, than learning the form.
Agreed.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the well of Tai Chi is very deep in knowing what it is that, what the ancestors wanted us to do, how they wanted us to do it, things that we should be thinking about. Thank you, Judy. And all these different things that they want us to think about after learning how to do the basic movements. So quite challenging. So go easy on yourselves. And if you're practicing, and let's say you're practicing on shoulders and elbows down, and then you see your shoulder, you feel your shoulder come up, don't get too upset at yourself, because the first thing is to notice it, is to first be aware. You first have to be aware. Once you're aware, then you can fix things, but you have to first be aware. So your job this week is to think about using intent, not force, or basically intend not to use brute force. So how do you do it? Be like Jello. It's all about relaxation, our body shape, okay? It's about balancing hard and soft so that they're unified together, okay? Independently, they are what they are, but together they can be a force to be reckoned with. So we want to unify our energy together so that we can be a force to be reckoned with, okay? Not saying that we're good. Okay, don't start getting in your head. Okay, so next time I go out to go get my mail, I got to see who's around so that I can show them I'm a force to be reckoned with. No. Okay. Because remember, we have to intend not to use force, right? So.
And I was just thinking, who can I practice throwing someone? How am I going to throw around it? Like,
yes.
Get this,
Yeah, no, children. Actually, little children are really good because they're very pliable. They're just
good to throw around. Huh?
They are. They're a lot of fun, and they think it's fun. So anyway. Okay, so that's our class for today. Next week we're going to work on some more, the next essential, and it'll be probably internal and external. Oh boy. Okay. So anyway, any questions before we finish?
Where can I get the descriptions written out that you were reading to us?
They're called notes. Your notes. The essentials. The essentials are the essentials.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
they're on the website. They're on the website.
Okay.
YangFamilyTaiChi.com.
Yeah. This is on Young Family Tai Chi.
Oh, okay. So I can get that fuller description there. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, everybody, go forth and use intent rather than force. Okay.
Good idea.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great
Oh,
class.
Cheryl Kleine says everybody needs to watch Twin Warriors. See, she's got good taste in movies too.
Oh,
Yes, we do.
that's a great one. It will change your perspective.
All of the Jet Li movies for me are rentable only. And so I
Oh,
was looking
really?
for free Jet Li movies, like I can't find any. And I have several different programs, so I'm just going to rent some. But I did see one of the Ip Man movies, which I guess is Wing Chun, not Tai Chi.
Skip them all and go watch Twin Warriors. It's
Okay.
perfect for Tai Chi. Like really,
Twin
and it's a
Warriors.
great story.
Fist of Legends. Yeah, all of his movies.
The one with Bagua.
Oh my gosh, the one. The one
I know, I've seen them
actually
all too, Nancy.
the one actually shows soft and hard.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a really good one
That's
too.
a really good one. Yeah.
Okay.
Movie night at Cheryl and Nancy's house.
Yeah, right? I can't wait till we can make that happen.
That sounds like
Yeah.
so much fun. We could
Yeah.
have a Zoom movie theater.
Movie
I think
night.
there is a way, if the movie's on Netflix, you can actually like have a party meeting where it'll start all at the same time or something.
Oh, really?
I'll look it up.
There are
Yeah,
no
I'll
Jet Li
figure it
movies
out.
on-
Okay,
there are
Cheryl, you
Jet Li
figure that
movies.
out and we'll do that. Oh, that sounds like fun. Okay, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Okay?
Bye.
I'll see you.
Have a nice evening.
Okay. You too.
Hey, Nancy,
Hey, Cheryl.
is there a way we can talk more about explosive energy and training it? Because I kind of lost that aspect a couple of years ago, and I'd like to work more on just moving fast, like individual movements again.
Yeah, that's through single movement practice, then you'll get that. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
I just feel like the timing is
Yeah.
ever so slightly different, and I'm not ever sure if it's actually correct or not, like what I'm doing, I guess.
Yeah, Michael also suggests the staff. The staff will also help.
I need a video or something. Like all I know is my Kung Fu staff. Like I have staff forms, but they're Kung Fu staff forms.
Okay, so they're shorter. Your staffs are short?
No, long staff, but the
Okay.
only forms I know are actually like I literally know Kung Fu forms, like just like the 103, like just like a form.
I
you
see,
know?
I see. Okay, we can show you the routine for the staff.
Okay, I will order one then because I'm dying to get back to that, and I've scoured the internet for Tai Chi staff, and I come up so short. And there's another new movie out that I gotta when I get the name I'll tell you, but they had so much staff in it, it was awesome.
Oh, really? Go to the website of Kuen, Kuen Way. They're in Canada. That's where we've gotten our staffs from before.
Okay,
And if you tell them you're from the school, they'll give you a discount.
okay,
Kuen, Kuen Way, Kuen
Thank you.
Way. Okay.
awesome. I'm gonna get on that right now.
All right. Okay. Take care.
Thanks, Nancy.
All
Thanks,
right.
Hank. Bye.
Bye.